All right, we're back one more time. Let's do it again. Hey, I'm Ronnie. Richard, my brother, what's up? How are you doing?
Yo, what's up? Here we go. Final
All right, so
elimination.
we're wait, you're eliminating me from the show
I'm
already?
eliminated. Yes, from the get go.
Damn, after 3 seasons of recapping the All Stars, how could you? Um, it's episode 9. I really didn't know if it was going to end at episode 9 or 10. You kind of thought it was going to be a two-part final, and that's essentially what it is. Um, I think I'm gonna wait to give a rating of the school of the episode a little bit later, but I don't think it's as favorable as you would expect. It's a little lower. Wasn't my favorite episode. I think we're welcome to say that every once in a while. Just didn't really fit for me. Did you like it?
Episode wise, yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, I'll stick around to 7. Although, like, some of the points that we're going to have to describe later are a little bit long winded. So, watching it visually, I liked it. But explaining all this stuff, it's a bit challenging.
Watching it, I felt like I had to have a dry erase board to keep up with the with everything that was going
You
on.
definitely needed a notepad, a calculator, and
So I yelled at TJ through the TV and I said, "Damn it, TJ, I don't like this kind of final. Like, make them go through mud and sludge and climb up rope, but don't make me think. I didn't ask you to make me think, TJ." Richard, this is
well,
episode
I
9.
could only add up to 10, so I'm like trying to get the calculator out because above 10, I was like, wait, no, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I didn't know
you
where to go.
using your fingers is it's crazy. But the challenge all stars is always good, and the challenge brand itself is always exciting. At this point right now, there's actually kind of a lot of buzz in terms of the challenge USA is coming. So there's just, you're excited about this series. This is kind of coming to an end. These are our familiar faces. And then you're wondering what challenge USA will look like. Those are familiar faces through Big Brother, Love Island, Survivor, and Amazing Race. But like, is it going to feel the same? Just the same way the regular flagship MTV version feels a little different than All Stars. So there's a lot of kind of excitement with the challenge right now, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of big things on the horizon for just not only the challenge, but old MTV shows with, just coming off the homecoming, and hopefully we get a few more of those and all the
Definitely.
challenges.
Well, I guess we got to start the show off, Richard, with the confessional person of the week. We didn't do it last episode because it was basically a to be continued, as you saw Derek versus Nehemiah, and we'll get to that in a second. But who are we saying as the confessional person of the week? We kind of tailed it off last week. Kellyanne or Johnny Bananas? Shall I state who I think it should be?
Yeah, you know what? I think we talked about this just before, so I think you could just say who I think we is the winner.
I think we'll do
You
Johnny
need a drum
Bananas.
roll?
Oh yeah, go. Taking it back, taking it back. Go ahead. Drum roll, please.
That was it right there. That's all we got. Sorry. Hit the
Oh,
Patreon if you need a
Richard
real
just
drum
says
roll.
drum roll. We're on budget. Sorry, we're on budget. We can't afford anyone's drum roll. No, we're doing Johnny Bananas simply for the fact that we think Kellyanne is great, but Johnny, while he wasn't the funniest, it was silly, dumbass humor. But what is good is when you manage to be on the show, and he probably got paid a good amount of money to do that, and it ends up being able to be billed in the commercial or the preview, rather, the trailer of like, oh, Johnny Bananas is involved some way, somehow. I've seen other reality networks or reality shows, rather, that kind of insert somebody, but they're not really in the show at all. But they have like one scene on a boat or something like that, and it's basically to get people to watch. But the person's not really in the show. So to the maneuvering of it all, and if Johnny did get paid a little bit, I say he deserves it. All right, moving on. Richard, what did you
Kudos
think?
to him for not being on the show, or a big negative to everyone that was on the actual episode.
Damn, throwing out negatives already.
It
Well,
was a
not a
polite negative.
Yep. Okay, so returning to the arena, Derek versus Nehemiah. Your thoughts on how that materialized, because I've got some opinions.
I'm not going to say too much about it, but obviously I love the pole wrestle, which pretty much it was, even though they gave it a different name. And I liked how last episode they showed like Derek in the past doing it multiple similar type of type of eliminations. But I mean, it was from the get go. You could see that Nehemiah kind of seemed like he was kind of controlling which way each person was moving and controlling the bar a little bit more. And so for me, it was fine. I mean, I don't have too much more to say. I mean, congrats to Nehemiah who came out with the win over Derek, and Derek being one of my favorites. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll talk about how they had flashbacks and all that, and the salutation from TJ in a second. But one thing that I remembered you saying, which did keep hope alive for Derek, was you said, "Well, who's to say that they don't come out of the little circle?" Which I believe then is that a DQ at that point
Usually a restart, and
or a
yeah, when that,
restart? And
and
so,
when that didn't happen, I was like, I don't know if Derek has a chance.
oh, really? See, I was wondering if, yeah, okay. I was like, would that play impact to what we see on the to be continued? Because one thing we don't want on a to be continued is there not to be anything substantial. Now, my calculation, and I mentioned this last episode, I believe, or did I just tell it to you in person? I thought it was very a telegraphed tweet that Wes had tweeted something about sportsmanship and this and this and this, and it was just telling me in my mind that, oh, guaranteed when we watch this next episode, Nehemiah is winning, because it told me in my mind that Wes would never tweet a sportsmanship like thing like that if his best friend is leaving the next episode. And I felt really like 100% about it. And I mean, I'm not going to say I'm right. Like, I didn't do anything, but it did happen that way, because I just don't think Wes would have tweeted that had his best friend won. It was a way for him to show his good sportsmanship side. I thought it was a weird tweet, to be honest with you, but
Well, what was the tweet? It was saying he didn't have the best sportsmanship, right?
it was some
That he
corny
was
ass,
sorry. Oh,
corny
corny.
Wes.
Oh,
Yes,
jeez.
yes, corny ass Wes with this like kumbaya, like, oh,
Oh,
sorry, Derek. Yeah,
kumbaya.
come, Derek. Oh my, I was just so rough to you. It's like you're kind of thinking like no one even really thought you were that mean to him, other than the same way everyone on the arena, the upper stage, they're all supporting their people. No one's really went over the line. Maybe the episode where everyone was against Beth, but for the most part, like, people just yell. But for you to do a tweet like that, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm surprised the network isn't like, yo, you can't tweet something like that. Because to me, it was telegraphing completely that Nehemiah would win. Anyways, and he did win. He did win. He would have never tweeted that. There's just, when you see phony people tweet stuff like that, you just have to, what the actual play is. So I thought it was interesting. But hey, Nehemiah won. So, and he's happy that he is not to be underestimated, or something of that effect.
Are you happy about it?
I get tired on reality shows. They do this on other competition reality shows where they take somebody who has not really been winning, and they somehow want to turn it into this like, oh, they're underestimating me. And it's like, if this other competitor won 9 times in a row and you've never won, what makes you think you deserve that credit to start? But it is the reality TV trope. It is the producers probably saying, yo, Nehemiah, how do you feel? This, and this. And, they egg him on, I suppose, or whatever. But just, it's a silly sentence, like, saying like, well, Derek didn't think I was anything, and I showed him. It's just the corniest part of reality TV will always be that you've not won damn near anything, but you are underestimated. Let me tell you something about life. You go into situations, you start from whatever level you start from, and you have to earn that credibility. I don't know why it happens. And there's other shows I watch, Richard, and they do that too. So I'm not against Nehemiah in this. I'm just against the silly like producer who has to egg on the contestant to say like, yeah, ramp it up. Tell us like, they better watch out for you. And then all of a sudden the contestant's like, yeah, I'm here now. It's like your record is like 9 losses and 1 luck win, and you want to try to be as good as the regular winning competitors? No way.
Well, he is the winning competitor.
I know, but you're not at the same level, really. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done.
I don't know. I mean, if you make a final, you make a final, but this is here and there. But we have had the word corny twice today, and I within the first 10 minutes, which is kind of first time ever.
I'm moving on. Um,
No, let's talk about Derek. Derek, challenge being God. He runs the podcast. He's the light of the house. He's going home. It's one of my favorites to watch. He's all-time favorite. Any words on him?
no, just that I felt bad if I'm Mark and that's his number one, and they kind of wanted to run it together. That's who I thought of the most. I of course thought about it for Derek too, but he put up a good match. It just didn't happen for him this time. So I just thought about like their connection, being so
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, I was thinking the opposite with Nehemiah and Wes, how like glorious it is that now they get to run it together.
Well, I mean, they are the winners at this moment. They really are geared up to be the top dogs, And
No.
yeah, I think you could be happy for Nehemiah and Wes if you like their brand of humor and
No,
athleticism.
essentially we have. I mean, you take away Derek, but even if you leave him at 5 great competitors, in my opinion, no one's an easy layup anymore. I mean, the casting was pretty good where there wasn't too many layups to start out with. I mean, when Tyler's a champion and he's the first one to go home, I think it's a pretty good casting that anyone could go home at any time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what we got. We got excitement from the to be continued. Again, I don't really think it was to be continued worthy. That could have just been, we could have saw that last week, but okay.
We could move on to the part I get to boast a little bit, right? Is that where we're going?
Yeah, Kellyanne and Kayla. Yeah. Well, not really boast, but you did the equation. Last week Richard did the equation, and he said that I can guarantee, not just because it's a to be continued, but I could also guarantee that Kellyanne and Kayla aren't gonna, have a matchup because Veronica left. And true indeed, TJ does cancel the elimination. But it didn't look that way. It looked like they were actually, get ready. I want you to get started. Let's get ready, get set, and then not go. So yeah, you would get a little gloaty moment on that.
You know what? I'll take a star. Can I have a star?
We still don't know.
That's my elimination win right there.
We still don't know what the stars are. If they're what they're worthy of at the moment. Yeah.
Stay tuned. Ooh.
Well, the thing is, so I'd be pretty shook by that if I'm literally like, ready, set, and I'm holding the for what was it, the pole? What's the name of the contest? Pole vaults or pole? What's it called?
It's usually pole wrestle, but it was called like Light My Fire because.
Okay, well, whatever the F it is. Because you're taking great emotion, you're like, I need to win. So I think I would have felt really interesting if I was Kellyanne and Kayla, because you're like so in the game, and then suddenly you get that peaceful like, we're not competing, we're both staying. But actually no, because we go right into a challenge.
Dun, 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 dun.
See, you thought dun, 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 but Richard likes sports. I don't like sports. I was like a little corny again. Like this was like just not an episode for me. I just was like it only for the fact that the way they like say it and edit it, it's like, oh god, so shocking. What is shocking about it? Nothing shocking about it. They got to do this stupid wall of fame. What's the laughing? What's happening? Why are you laughing?
This dumb wall of fame. I thought it was good. I liked it.
No, the game wasn't bad. It was the fact that it was like, your next challenge starts right now. Like this whole upping the ante all the time. I think they did
it in the first season.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
no.
It was like the first time they did it in the first season. Yeah, because it had never been done. But I think because these seasons are filmed a little bit shorter in time-wise, and a little bit more quicker, that's why they do it this way. I don't think they did last season, but I think the first season they did it.
I don't remember that. The game itself was exciting or interesting.
Or it was last season, wasn't it? It was Darrell and Janelle, and then they were like, "Oh, we just got done," and or they started the final right from there, as they were already sweating.
They started the final, which I think was okay. Jumping right into a challenge, it just doesn't impress me.
This is the start of the final in a way. They just gave them time after.
In a way, it was just cheesy.
Cheesy, corny. Let's go, baby.
Everyone knows that this was of the Challenge All-Stars, Paramount Plus, the executives know this. This out of all, they've had season 1, season 2, and now season 3. They know that 309 was the least compelling. They know this.
You know what? I just upped my episode rating to 8.
Wait,
I
what?
liked it. I just this episode is now 8 for me.
Oh, well, then I took it to a -2. How about that?
Oh, damn.
And I'm only judging based on what was given on. I'm like a critic, a critic in terms of, people study film and they critique in that way. I'm not being a hater. I'm not trying to do no funny YouTube moment, podcast moment. I'm strictly saying, was this really the right move? That's all I'm saying.
And I'm saying yes.
Oh, yes is still on the show? I didn't know that.
No, but Wes is.
Who's Wes? Yes? Who? What? Okay, so Wall of Fame. It wasn't that bad though. It was actually an interesting one. I do like this kind of thing. After we get through the whole it's happening right now moment, but it's a questionnaire, and each of the questions sort of correspond to a name, like a cast member. TJ says, "Do not finish last." That's like his big thing. The person that I thought the most would be, on top of it would be Janae, which was funny because they did an edit of Janae kind of looking at the wall. So that actually made me happy. Because people do that. You see in Big Brother's house, the Big Brother house, some people take the extra initiative to check everything out. So I was interested to see who was going to win. I had no idea sort of how it would play out. The question to you, and I'll give you the rankings in a second, Richard. How do you think these rankings, be it first or last place, are going to play into the final?
Well, when he says don't come in last, the only thing you could think of, there's been a couple. I mean, where last place goes automatically home,
which I think they
almost
should.
Before, and it's happened before. I mean, season 1 when Derek went home with who's it, Gisela?
Mm-hmm. Yep, in the kayak. Yep.
In the kayak, they were going backwards, spinning in circles.
Oh, she was so fun. I miss her. I miss the Challenge All-Stars where you could have a Gisela. Now it's like the challenge. Now we have to have only winners. It's just like I wanted the show to be fun, and we're making it not fun with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know, but I liked it that they didn't go home.
Richard said, "Screw you, I love it."
Well, because I hate when people obviously that one Derek and Giselle went home because they sucked in one thing. I don't mind a person going home, but I don't want a person going home before they go through a round or two. Like if in the middle they're still in last place, okay, you deserve to go home. But when the first place this is a memory wall, or if we get into a couple of competitions, the first one kind of depends where you take off from and you finish that. Those aren't really challenges yet. Maybe the third one, if they're still in last place, then send them home if they do. But as of now, that's what I'm thinking at the start of when he says don't come in last place. I was like, just don't send them home.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. Can I give you the breakdown? It's first place is Wes, second place Nehemiah, third place Mark, last place Brad, so he is to worry. First place is Janae. And a side note, or actually, second place is Kayla, third place is Kellyanne, and last place is Naya. Naya sort of notices that Kayla is cheating, or she feels like she's cheating. I wonder. Both of those women are trying to grow up a little bit and be a little more mature. What was your thoughts? Did you think she was cheating?
Or if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Oh, who said that?
Everyone.
Oh.
I mean, it's hard to cheat. Like Kayla said, maybe she took an answer or two, but to completely cheat and then beat Naya.
Yeah, it's a hard. And it's not like she just beat her. Like Naya was in third. Like Naya didn't even finish.
Dead last.
You cheated off me, and look at me. I didn't even finish. I mean, that's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
But I like seeing both of them grow up. They both had confessional moments where they were talking about, trying to be a little bit more evolved and not be So emotional. And then Kayla realizes that she's not with anyone she started with. She's the remaining treehouse member. So good to see a little evolvement. They both grew a little bit. I liked that. So basically, we got Naya and Brad that are last place. But as we were kind of talking about, all 8 people are going to the final. It's a staggered start. Woo! I didn't know if they were going to start immediately. If we have this moment of like, oh, we're doing the arena and surprise, a pre-challenge, pre-final challenge, and then surprise, the challenge starts overnight now. I was kind of thinking maybe that would happen.
Yeah, I thought it would start right away, but after that challenge, I guess it just kind of gives them a idea where they're at. They could get their mental state, and looks like they go back to the house for, I don't know, a day or two.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure that they would, and I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna, mess with some people's emotions, or willpower or whatever you want to call it, dedication. I mean, not even dedication, because that's a really hard thing to stay up and just go right into it. But if we've seen it on previous seasons, you know that it's coming. This final isn't going to be fun. Anyways, we have a couple in-house fun moments that we should at least talk about. You hear, ooh, ooh. And it's the Godfather moaning practically, but he's getting a massage, evidently an epic massage from Kellyanne. So that was cute. And then another interesting kind of bond that we never saw coming maybe was Naya and Nehemiah. They're kind of motivating each other. Naya expresses a little bit of gratitude with Nehemiah, and then she also kind of speaks upon being a fourth quarter performer. So that's just good to know where her mind's at, because Richard, as a viewer, we only keep seeing, I'm here, but now Jordan's gone. I don't know. So we're just really kind of left in limbo. So I kind of was excited to see her confidence kind of boost a little bit.
Yeah, we saw a little bit with her and Nehemiah last episode, but she was still like depending on like almost Nehemiah now that Jordan was gone. Whereas good to see like this one, she's like, I got I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, here we go, fourth quarter. Like, so it's good to see some of her self-worth. And then I think she talks about the episode like where she's almost self-sabotaged herself in the
Right. Yeah.
past, and it's good to see the growth, like you said.
I mean, self-sabotage is easy because this game throws so much at you. You almost can't blame them. There's 2 ways to approach getting ready for the final. On one hand, you look at the whole situation, specifically these women, because the women had Treehouse and then other people that weren't really in an alliance or whatever. And now it's kind of these final 4, Janae, Kayla, Kellyanne, and Naya. And so they're all from different, they didn't really play the game together. And so they're having like this carefree cheers moment. And then on the flip side, maybe other people prepare differently. Wes is like, no, I'm over here eating carbs. I'm over here eating antioxidants or whatever, because he was more like, I need to make sure my body's prepared for all the stuff that's going to come in terms of, staying up overnight, eating raw food or whatever they're going to end up having to
and
do.
I choose the woman's way is the way to do it, because they were jumping in the pool, they were drinking wine and having a good time. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, there's no wrong way to do it, but sometimes you got to celebrate, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Now, if this was when Wes was in the bunker and there's no like real like way to celebrate or no, coolness of the house, then maybe you would dive into your like really regimented, I got to train my brain, I got to rest my brain, I got to, make sure this, and this is working properly. But you have this beautiful, I mean, the pool that overlooks the ocean. I mean, yeah, jump in that shit.
I mean, in general, I'm on Wes's page, but anytime a woman wants to jump in the pool and have a good time,
Oh
I'm
god,
never going to tell them no.
Richard,
Woo!
with the chauvinistic viewpoint over here.
Hey, if they want me to jump in, hey, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in too.
No one asked you to get in the pool.
Hey, it's a beautiful view. We're all celebrating.
You didn't earn it, Richard. Damn it. But there will be a podcast awards podcast challenge, and then yes, we will win, and we will be in the pool, and we will be smiling at everybody because they're gonna say, "We didn't expect." Oh my God, they're the underdogs. And then when we do win, I'm not gonna say, "That's right, you saw all the other challenge podcast
You should.
recappers, and you underestimated us, and me and Richard showed you." Bitch, I knew I was successful from the fucking beginning. Why do I need to prove it to anybody? Oh, I can't stand that trope, that reality TV trope of I'm underestimated. Ugh, you got to care for me. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Randomly Ronnie's outburst of the episode coming to you at 2606.
Does it happen every week now?
Sponsored by.
I know. Where the fuck is the sponsor, Richard? Jesus, that's what we need the sponsor. That's why it makes it, a rant. Ranting is always, I'm always ready for a rant. Okay, let's move on. So this is exciting. We fly to San Jose Island. Everyone's basically hyped. Janae pisses in the plane. And I think you were talking about how you liked I liked it because I like to see that transitional moment of like we've been battling it out. We're the final 8, and like boom, let's head somewhere else and let's like have an experience to ourselves. I love that. And you also liked basically even like the cinematography, the music that cued in at the moment.
Well, because it's like the time before, like it's coming. Here we're on our way. Like we've gone through all these weeks. Let's enjoy this flight. Enjoy it, like you said, the filming of the way it was filmed, and they showing the island from above, and you're like in this little tiny plane. Like I don't know, it's just like let's go. Like when we land, it's on. But let's enjoy this little time and have some laughs right before we get started. Pretty much put your body and test it to the limits.
Yeah. And it was
for
a hype moment.
$500,000.
Yeah, well, Richard's right. The final challenge is $500,000. So basically, the race is going to be a series of checkpoints. This is after they get onto the island and they see TJ with their giant challenge letters, which Richard's always wondering about. Where do those challenge letters live?
I mean, who's carrying them, or what? Like, do they put them on a plane, or like where they come
Richard,
from?
they're fabricated each time for each location. They're trash after that, I believe. Yeah,
I refuse to believe it. These letters are too big.
Richard, have you seen like the fashion shows in New York or whatever? They put up these things for a half a second and they do the event, and when the event's over, all of this beautiful, design things, they're gone a second later. It's just for the show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Richard's like, no, they're in a plane.
Nope.
They're in a challenge plane that Johnny Bananas flies.
Yep.
and
each letter comes per plane.
And Veronica is the flight attendant.
Or they drop them out of a helicopter. Each letter, and they have a little. They float all the way down.
That's the real challenge. Yeah. Can we watch that show too? Is that on Paramount Plus? Anyways, let's talk about where TJ's getting everybody kind of set and ready to rock and roll because the mood is pretty good, I think. So we basically know that the race is going to start with a series of checkpoints. Everything is worth points as you go throughout the checkpoints. To begin, they're going to run as partners of 2 to one checkpoint. And then once you get, hold on, let me see. There's a lot going on here. And once you're going to get more points based on your arrival time. So the earlier you get to the checkpoint, the more points you get, which I think is at 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to battle for more points when you do head-to-head. And head-to-head is going to be 5 points, which will switch up your head-to-head throughout.
5 or 0. You either get 5 or you get 0.
Oh, yeah. I was only talking about what you can earn. You're right. Yeah. There's plenty of... So if there's 2, 2, 2, and 2, yeah, only the winner. Yeah, that's crazy. Only the winners get the 5.
We got points. So get your calculators out.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about. I mean, do you want to take a break? This break is brought to you by. We need our sponsor for sure. But I will always encourage you.
Another randomly Ronnie rant.
No, I am known to be very sweet and very nice. So I don't know what you're talking about. But I will say we will take a beat
to get you a sponsor.
We will. Thank you, Richard. We will take a beat to say if you do want to support the show. Patreon.com/randomlyRJ Jr. is just the paywall, so there's additional content there, and it's basically saying that throughout the 2 YouTube channels that we have, there's 200 videos there, 200 videos there, a lot of great pop culture stuff, a lot of great challenge stuff. But the Patreon's a way you could, support and throw a little $3 a month or whatever, $5 a month, $11 a month or whatever, or one time, and that kind of helps the challenge, our version of the challenge after show. continue. And I think we got a good thing here because Richard is really smart with what he knows in terms of watching every challenge that's ever been on MTV. And I'm here with him. I don't know what I bring to the table. You know, I keep it pretty funky. I keep it pretty honest, and I think that's also really good. And sometimes I say things like, "Oh, this person's corny," and I don't mean anything really
Yeah,
that
number
bad by
3,
it.
corny.
I don't mean anything that bad by it. Okay, let's move on, Richard. So, anyways, the
Let's
point
talk about
system.
some stars.
Okay, well, you know that right now, no one knows what's going to happen with the stars. Nehemiah and Janae have the leading amount, and that gives them 5 points directly off the bat. So, what really breaks it down to is that means Janae's not only winning in the starting point, she gets to start first, but she also has 5 points, so she's in the best seat in the house. The second person in the best seat in the house, I think, is Wes because he also starts early, but he doesn't have the 5 points. But Nehemiah right
Well,
behind him start.
the winners of the memorization wall and that little quiz, when we get started with this little race, the 2 first place pair up, the 2 second place pair up, third, and they leave at staggered times, like you had mentioned earlier. So it's Wes and John A. So Wes and John A. definitely have an advantage, and because she has the most stars, she's got a double advantage, I would say.
Yeah, will she take advantage of that? I don't know. But I was saying, yeah, just it's a lot going on, but that's the basic breakdown. And good luck to everybody. Janae's starting with the most stars, as Richard said in the first heat, so she's got the best predictions to do really well. Anyway, did you notice, Richard, the song when they first started, and TJ says go, is the instrumental from First Look, the TV show that Johnny Bananas hosts on. I recognize it because I've been, watching that show for years when it was Adriana, what's her name? From the Hills? What's the girl's
Oh,
name? Audrina.
I do
Audrina
know
used to
Adrena.
be Audrina used to be the host on First Look. Then it was the girl from the Pussycat Dolls, Ashley something, and then it was now Johnny, which I don't necessarily think he was the right direction, but they wanted to go younger and have kind of a stupider show, so
Oh,
Johnny was perfect for that. No, they did. They wanted like more of a lowest common denominator, and
that
he's
just caught
really.
me off guard by how you explained it.
No, because the show used to be a really beautiful lifestyle show. I only know because I've sent over my resume to work on production because I have friends of friends that work on the production team on that show. So I've always been like very aware of First Look. But anyways, let's not talk about the bad part. Johnny Bananas show now that he did earn, I suppose. It's got that instrumental. So I just was like, oh well, this is so funny. Like, why do I recognize that song? It's because that's the instrumental from the TV show that he works on. So that was a little interesting tie-in that I wanted to share with everybody. But I didn't mean stupid. I meant like stupid, like
I just was
dumbass
explaining.
show. Like, look at me. I'm like, Johnny Bananas. Like that. That. I mean,
Oh,
he just.
easy. Hey, Giant Bananas fans, go take a look at First Look. There you go. All right, let's move on.
Oh God, look at you. What are you, a flight attendant? Like you're no, you gotta. Janae struggles. Janae struggles a little after getting her key. Because once they come from the run, they're trying to go to this like what was it like? Well, where the checkpoint is.
Yeah,
Um,
the first it's pretty basic. You're pretty much running, grabbing a key, and you run back. I mean, it's the most basic of all competitions, and the way the timing that was staggered was far enough where pretty much if you left in first, which John A. and Wes did, they came in first. Give them what, Ronnie? 4 points, and then so on. Second place got second. Who was that? Second was
Kayla was second for the girls. She was
well, yeah,
what?
yeah, Kayla and Nehemiah.
Mm,
So they got 3 points, which puts Nehemiah in a good spot since he had the original 5 for just 7 stars.
yeah.
And then Kelly and Mark came in third, so they get 2, and then Brad and Naya. came in last. 1 point.
Yeah. Brad talks about, I don't necessarily want to do it as a team. No offense, Naya. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh, that sounded bad, he said.
Yeah. Anyways, so once they get there, what happens? They were at the checkpoint. They use the key to unlock the planks. So they
well, now that was the checkpoint type thing. So now they pick a now it's the challenge, like you're challenging a person.
the head to head.
The head to head. So this is 5 or 0 coming up, and it's pretty much like a little puzzle to put planks that say the challenge, and it makes like kind of a raft, and you gotta go around the buoy and come back for this.
And if you don't win, you just sit there like Kellyanne and say, "I just want to enjoy myself." I just want to enjoy myself. Like I was like, oh, that's she goes, I already lost. Let me just enjoy myself until they come and get me. Yeah. So yeah,
she was going against Kayla.
Yeah, and Kayla got the 5 points. Kayla got the 5 points.
So I guess I would say about that one was Wes and Brad were going heads up. 2 favorites, I would say, to win. So whoever got the win would kind of take a early lead, and Wes ended up beating him. So that's 5 more points for Wes and 0 for Brad, who only got 1 the first time. So he's fallen kind of far behind.
And you want to see points as you go.
I do. Because I'm not trying to add these in my head. My head only has so much information in it.
Well, that's true, but I wouldn't even add it up. This is why this is why I'm not known as a great challenge recapper, compared to the other people who love it. Because this shit pissed me the F off. I was like, I just kept having to stop and read, and it just was so effing annoying. Like you never were given a chance to bite into something. Really bite into something and like see the competitive nature go. Before we knew it, it was, oh wait, switch this person and get this person, add these points. It was a lot. Really was not for me. Very low rated episode for Ronnie.
Definitely for me. But I would say these checkpoints were so quick that maybe what you're saying is like there wasn't enough time to see. Like they ran for like a minute and they were done, and then moving on to this stage, with the raft, and that went really quick. And then they're moving on, so there wasn't like time in between each competition where you could kind of get settled.
The run wasn't running up a hill and then you have to crawl under some barbed wire, like kind of a long distance, and then you get to this spot and it's kind of like a beat, like, okay, good, we're at the checkpoint. We barely ran, we're barely at the checkpoint, but wait, switch it up with the head to head, and then you as the viewer, which you're just sitting your fat ass eating bonbons, like enjoying the TV show, but like you're kind of having to do a lot of calculation. So I just didn't love that. But can we move on from this first portion? Did we get all that in?
I guess we got Wes beat Brad. Nehemiah beat, was it Mark? Yeah. And then
to this point, I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was like, you're throwing too much shit at me.
Well, now you're throwing me off. Come on.
Go ahead, Richard. Go.
And then Kayla beat Kellyanne and Naya beat John A. So at this point, let's see, we got a couple scores. I guess John A's 9, Kayla's 8, Naya's 6, Kellyanne 2. So that's still pretty close. Nehemiah 13, Wes 9, Mark 2, and Brad 1. So Nehemiah and Wes kind of up top, and Mark and Brad got to start making a move.
And my notes say, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now you alternate. So now you go back with a partner. You got to pick a different partner. They'll do a little, up to 4 points, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever you finish in. And after that, then you'll go back to challenge type thing. Mm-hmm. So what do we got? So we got Naya and Nehemiah. They team up, Mark and John A., Kellyanne and Brad, and Wes and Kayla. And this is the tandem bike, right?
No, this is where they're jogging up a hill.
Yeah, and they get on tandem bikes.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, I was putting the first thing they did. Yeah. Bikes are always fun with the challenge. That part I could say that is.
Especially tandem, because they're not the easiest thing. And then uphill,
Something always goes bad. Someone's legs are always already ready to just dominate, and the other person's like, "Wait, slow down."
The bikes are always falling one way or the other.
Oh, and Wes kind of flirts with Kayla, which I'm like, Wes, you do a lot of flirting on this show. I mean, he is married, isn't he? And he's like, "Oh yeah, me and Kellyanne
Did
used
you
to be
take that as
together."
flirting?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I didn't think that much of it, but I mean, not to the point where you asked me what I thought of it. I just stated it, and so
No,
yeah, I mean,
I didn't think it
not
at
flirting,
all.
but
I
like,
mean, he mentioned it like as a metaphor, but
well, I'm saying flirting in terms of I don't know, he just got to think about the way the wife watches the show, and he kind of makes a couple comments about Kellyanne, or I guess those were good comments. Those were, we used to date, we've come so far. I guess that's not. There's
yeah,
something slimy about him that makes me like he necessarily shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
I thought everything was perfect, but I don't know.
Richard,
This is
here's the
not
thing.
my expertise area.
It's not expertise.
I wasn't thinking about it.
It was a comment that I stated, but it's almost like you're asking me about it, like as if I gotta have like
No,
answers about it. Like what, because you're a challenge person, so you do everything by
like I
numbers.
said, I
What
didn't have an
calculates it?
answer.
I'm like, I don't know what. Yeah,
I didn't have an answer. That's all I was saying. I was like, oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. All right.
it just made me think: does Wes cheat on his wife? Is all I thought.
I got no thoughts of that, and I still don't.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't have much on it, but I mean, just like a little.
You had a lot more than I did, apparently.
I mean, he said it in the thing.
As a metaphor.
Checkpoint number 2: everyone has to choose a station and a competitor. So the matchups are Kellyanne and Naya, Brad and Nehemiah, Kayla and Janae, and Wes and Brad.
Yeah, this is just a matchup. They have all these, what are they, like stars that are different colors?
Yeah.
And you got to find the one that's different. They have a regular board and then your own puzzle board. And it leads you to a 4-digit code when you see which one's different in each line. So say there's a line of 10 stars, one of them's different. And there's 4 of those lines.
Yeah.
You got that?
I mean, I do. My notes were like a snooze. And you don't mean to be mean, because people put this show together and it's a huge challenging show, and puzzles and all that makes sense, but just after all of that, like, I'm fucking dizzy as a viewer. Now, like,
not me. I'm locked in, Betty. I'm locked in. I'm like, all right, what's the best way to go about this?
Oh yeah, even that, the whole like,
then,
because yeah.
Yeah, and Naya makes a good point. She's like, just look at the bottom. They're all different colors, so and then you can make it see which one's different through all. But on this, Wes flies through it right away. So who's he beat? He beats Mark, I believe. And then Brad beats Nehemiah. And then Naya, she does really good. And she beat, was it Kellyanne?
I think so. Kellyanne did bad on 2 checkpoints, yeah.
Yeah, and Janae beat Kayla, I believe.
And my favorite part from that whole thing is that we got...
That it was over, probably.
No, that we got an 80s song by Real Life, Send Me an Angel. At this point, I'm just like dizzy trying to watch this damn show that I love. Mind you, when I'm talking bad about it, I do love the show. But I think one thing I'm misunderstood on is because I keep it very like exactly, I don't want to say like keep it real or anything like that, like other people don't. I hate that comment because it makes it sound like other people don't.
Like what says? You keep it 100?
Yeah, like I'm not trying to say like I keep it more, authentic than anyone else, but I'm just saying one of the goods and the bads of how I broadcast is, if this would have been something that really amused me and tickled me pink, I'd be like, with all the commentary, you see how much of a loving heart I have on everything. But this particular episode drove me nuts. It was so terrible to like my liking. So you're put in one of 2 positions. As a broadcaster, am I going to fluff it up for everybody? or if I'm going to just say it exactly how I feel. And I was struggling. That's all it is. Luckily, Richard and I, when we do the recap, Richard doesn't struggle at this. Some of this
Oh, I
stuff that
love
I
it.
don't
I
like.
got my little calculator out. I'm writing down
Oh yeah,
numbers.
you will never. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. What this is gonna break our calculator sponsor that we were about to gain, Richard. You're never gonna have me watch a TV show doing the work, me calculating this, and this. No,
but you don't
amuse
have
me,
to.
TV. Don't make me have to do the work too.
Well, hence again, why I like that they show the numbers, so it doesn't make sense that you don't
You
like that
did.
they show the numbers if you don't want to do the work.
I just think
I
it
don't
kind of
get it,
took.
but I don't
Yeah.
know. Who
All
does?
right. Let's not. Yeah. I mean, I could go on and on. Well, tell me who the winners are. So that's the Wes, Brad, Janae, Naya. They all received the 5 points.
Yeah, we went through that.
Okay. Well, but Richard, there's so much information. I mean, what's wrong with restating it? I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Because you got numbers flying all through your head right now.
Because it's stupid. Because it's dumb. Anyways, our new pairs are. We're switching again. New pairs, and again, we're just like we're not. Did I say this to you before? Like off recording? Well, maybe I'll say it again. But it just I need a little bit more. The reason we fell in love with the challenge was the movement
to find out a winner.
I know, but it's getting a little too, get this puzzle and get this number and unlock a key, and it's not becoming like when I think of the challenge, I think of like almost like a physical fitness, like domination competition, water, which I think we're going to see all that on the next episode. But this just really left me dry. It really did.
Well, when are you not dry? No.
Jeez.
I just play.
Tell us how you really feel.
What I like about it is, maybe they did this way because of last year's who knows what happened at the end type thing with MJ and John A and them winning and everything. Well, this you have a running scoreboard. There's no debating who wins or nothing.
Well, the one debating thing I was thinking is it a first season was just one winner? Yes. Second season was a male and a female. We don't know if there's a male and a female winner this time.
I think they said male or female.
Okay.
I think, yeah. But I thought there should have been a male and a female for the first one as well.
Which would have been who?
Would have John A and Kellyanne would have tied. Or they did tie.
Wow. Yeah, damn. Yeah. That's crazy. I loved the way that one ended. Going up the hill like that, all majestic. I liked that. Okay, and so I'll say we'll finish this little part
here. I mean, it doesn't look like there's too many hills on that, but it could possibly end that way.
No, and to the point here.
Oh no.
we're gonna get to all of this last little part before we get to the, and next on the challenge. But I will say the stuff coming up looks really good. It's just all of this just did not feel. It felt heavy, felt dizzy to me, and maybe I'm just lashing out because I'm like, oh, we're supposed to do a really great recap, on it.
To me, this felt like this is just the pregame. Like I think the numbers got in the way of what you're saying because these aren't the fun. They ran, they built a raft, and they did a memorization type thing. There wasn't a lot to it. Or in the previews, like you're saying, there's more like old school stuff, the eating comp, which is always interesting. And people are going to eat. It looks like carrying stuff through the woods.
Yeah.
And
how about when Darrell had the chilies and then he almost had to stop, or he did stop in the bicycle. I thought that was fun to watch. I mean, no offense to Darrell. I mean,
so you wouldn't put that stuff at the start of the final anyway. So you can't really judge this episode on just this half alone. Mm-hmm. You could say you don't like it so far. I definitely get that, but
well, it felt really like it was on the way to going to a good direction because these new pairs of Nehemiah, Kayla, Brad, Janae, Mark, Kellyanne, Naya, and Wes, they're going to be going to the kayaks, which Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just and TJ mentions how kayaks have been a big thing in the past, the finals of people messing up or doing really well that have, vaulted them into winning or losing or getting eliminated. So it's kind of fun to see the kayaks there's always one good team that just takes off, and then there's always one team that's spinning in a circle. So I'm excited to see that. I don't know who I would think would be the best kayaking team. are the worst.
I more than defining who that's going to be. I was just more like, finally something that feels good visually to watch. And then
Yeah,
having
you haven't got much visual like competitions yet.
Yeah, and so that got me excited. But combined with TJ's sentence about, these were major moments in final history or challenge history, and then all the flashbacks made a lot of sense. And it really did a lot for me, because as I was frustrated with the whole episode, this was like, oh my god, now let's
Would you
go. We're
give it
about
a
to.
-2?
I gave it a -2, and I'm sticking with it. Yeah, only because when I love something, I'm also very like, oh my god, it was great. I loved it, and wow, I could imagine next week. We don't know. I could imagine on next week's episode, the final, that I really have a lot of love in my heart for it, and I could say, well, you kind of got to have peaks and valleys to create the ending of a show, and so that first part of the final was just a little bit of the pre tasks to kind of like set people up for, you have 13 points, you have 4 points, you have 2 points. I think what made it heavy for me is it felt too busy as a TV show. And I critique this when I critique other reality shows. If you do a to be continued, you better be damn sure that the to be continued portion is worthy. And the Derek Nehemiah thing was not worthy. And then you topple in a mini challenge, like right on top of that. It just was too much. Like I thought this in my head, production wise, you should have just had those all in one episode, and then you could have done the final in one episode, meaning the half of what we saw here, and then whatever we're going to see on the
And with
next
that
week's
say,
episode.
I disagree.
Okay, but I mean, I really, it's good.
And
That's
that's it.
good. That's good. But I really feel the way that
That's
I
all I
feel.
got.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
no, I mean they left you hanging because the final was right there. They wouldn't have left Nehemiah and Derek hanging if it wasn't the final next. And usually the final's about an episode and a half, so instead of having just half an episode of nothing, that's why they left you with a cliffhanger, which they normally do at the very end of a season.
I'll just
It's
say, step up
minimum.
your cliffhangers. That's it. Is that good? Step them up.
I think it's a timing thing more than like what the cliffhanger is in general, but I get what you're
Yeah.
saying on that.
Yeah, it wasn't like this epic, like, oh man, that was one of the best pole wrestles we've ever seen. It was just like, it was kind of anticlimactic in a little bit of a way. But it was just a busy episode. That's just the most of it. It was a busy episode. And listen, I have a busy week, so I don't have too much time to give on a busy episode, but I do love doing a recap with my brother Richard, because we try our best, and I hope that anyone that's enjoyed anything that we did could see that there's two different sides. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say what I say, and Richard, of course, has so many different perspectives, which
And mine's the right one.
I don't always agree on. And I hope that you could kind of like have that little yin yang situation. Anyways,
I'm
that's
just glad they did the points. They showed us the points throughout. That made it easier for me.
well, I knew, without even talking to you, I knew you would love that, because Richard loves like a stat or like, and that's why when I was even taking my notes, I was saying something about Wes being very confident about something, and he's referring to the one of the recent times he was at the War of the Worlds, and I wrote 2019 or 19 as a note, and we were like, when me and Richard were getting ready to do the show, I was like, well, what's 19? And it was me saying, let me make sure I write all the information, because you do like to refer to notes and very calculated, like when this happened and how it happened and who won and the facts and the stats and all that stuff. So I respect it, which is actually funny.
Well, so
Oh,
do you have anything on what you think what's going to happen? Who's going to win? I mean, we got the points for the girls: Janae 15, Naya 13, Kayla 10, and Kellyanne 5.
okay.
Kind
So
of anyone's game. Like, who would you pick?
okay, I'm going to just go off of, God, I guess I just let it rip. Don't think too much into it. I think for the men, it's gonna be Wes. I think for the
So
women,
he has 18 points. Nehemiah has 15. Brad has 9, and Mark is at 3. Unfortunately.
yeah, and I don't necessarily factor all that in, and I know I should, but I
But
just feel.
yeah, they could have a 10-point thing later on. Probably the last. I
Mhm.
could see like the last mission by yourself up the mountain. First one there gets 10 points, which would be a huge game changer. So
for my women's choice, I think I'm going to choose a wild card. I think I just am.
Is there a wild card?
Sure. Well,
Oh,
Janae's a winner. Kellyanne's gotten close, so she's still like a winner adjacent. I don't think Kayla's gonna win, and it could be Naya.
you're going Naya.
But I feel like Naya could fatigue, though. That's my only I feel like maybe I'm wrong. And then if I were to argue that, and these see it's this is what makes the show so funny. Richard is more like on the numbers and all that and past history. I'm more like, well, Richard, did you see the Challenge All Stars 3 artwork? Kayla is the center person, and she's sized the biggest. She's probably the winner.
Wait, is she? Is that true?
That's a fact. That's a fact. She's the Cyrus is on the top. She's in the middle. She's in the middle of the star, and you never know how that goes.
I was going to choose Kayla.
Okay.
Well,
I like
point
it.
wise, she's got endurance. She's pretty good with stuff. Maybe not the best with puzzles. Johnny's got that, but I think when it comes to if there's anything like endurance or athletic, Kayla's got that. She's only 3 points down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it, and I'm glad you're choosing it. But I was gonna go if I didn't do Naya as the great wild card and the whatever. I was gonna go with Kellyanne. But there's something that's saying Kellyanne won't finish.
It's a lot of points down.
That and
like if she had 7 or 8, you're only coming back from a little bit, but I mean it's possible. It's possible.
Well, we're in a good place though as viewers
She's got
because
the endurance. Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with either of them winning. You know what I mean? All the four remaining women competitors are great. We've talked a little bit of shit, but all the 4 remaining men, I wish them all, whoever is the winner. I mean, that's a lot of money. In fact, if you are the winner,
and I agree with you, it's probably Wes. But I'd like to see Brad make a comeback if I could, but if I had to bet on it, I'd go Wes.
Well,
because he's done it before. He's got the lead. I mean,
we are going to agree because Brad is who's in my heart. Like Brad is like the one I want to win. I feel like it was a very, I sometimes when Brad comes on the challenge, I get a little like, oh, is he going to be a hothead or, is he going to, has he evolved or whatever? And he certainly has. So it would be so wonderful. But the only reason I don't like outwardly choose him is because this is the challenge, not a storybook. You know what I mean? Not a fantasy. Yeah, it's not a fantasy. And even though it makes sense for the story for him to get the win, I kind of feel like Wes is going to get the win, which is going to make me upset to a degree because, you thought about all those times where the authority could have got him out early and you leave him in there and then he goes ahead and wins. But that's the nature of the game though, too. However, you have people feeling like, yep, we got to get you out. Or if they don't feel like they need to get you out and you're still a competitive person. I mean,
well, that's what happens a lot of times in those survivors or the big brothers as well. Like, they'll go after the most athletic person, but they'll leave the smartest person and the most like manipulative person in. And so when it gets to the end of the game, they could kind of maneuver all the way and then get all their ducks in a row and win that last competition or two. I always think get the smarter person out than the person that just has muscles and is bigger. But
well, let's go with our picks. So mine is Naya and Wes, and yours is Wes and Kayla.
Yeah.
But we both wish Brad would win.
Free my man Brad.
Yeah.
I'm the drunk tank again, Randy.
And in fact, if he does win, they have to do a San Diego homecoming. I don't think it's possible, but, maybe something.
All right. So you got anyone for, what is that? Just the confessional player of the week?
If I'm giving the episode a -2, nobody deserves a confessional person of the week. So I'll just piggyback off you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, you're giving me, was it carte blanche?
Carte blanche. Yeah. Well, the thing is, even Kayla, who's been so funny, she was even boring this week. You know what I mean? Or two. It just something was not hitting for me. I could try to scratch my brain to figure out if anyone was giving me a confessional moment. Maybe Kellyanne. God, Kellyanne always does. But I'm doing a
I'll jump in
nobody.
right there because Kellyanne gets my quote of the week with when you kind of mentioned it, where she's like, "I'm just going to chill out, wait to be rescued. I'm not going to waste any energy. My give a fuck meter is just like real low right now."
Oh yeah, she's great. She's good.
So, but she didn't really have too much other stuff. I thought it was funny when Wes is outside by the fridge. She's like, "Why are you flexing right now?" And then she
She said
mentions to
that.
the
Oh.
girls. She mentions to the girls like he's crying inside.
She's good, Richard. I like
but
her.
that wasn't a confessional that part, but that was pretty funny. But that's all I kind of got from her. But I'm gonna go with Wes because he's kind of through the whole episode,
Mhm.
and I liked. I mean, he's kind of put a good spin, or not spin, but like the thought process of going into the final. And he brought that to it, which no one else kind of did. And when you're going into the final, that was good to see. And just his experience, like you're saying, the last time he went final was the War of the Worlds that you were talking about, and it was like his hardest final of all time. And it was traumatizing, but it also gives you a lot of experience, which is true to get you ready. Then later on, he's talking about the carbs and getting compared. Like these people are drinking wine, I'm loading up, so like he doesn't have to get picked up by Kenny again. No,
Uh,
and stuff like that. And then what I guess like a lot of the challengers, what would I write down here? He wrote, "I almost died in every final I've ever been to, and so have half the people that have ever been to the final. This is designed to break you, knowing that, and you're still signing up for it. It's pretty sociopathic, but it's also pretty exciting, which is what I think a lot of them are thinking. So like he put a lot of that into the confessionals, and then just the last little one when he's kind of laughing at Nehemiah, he's like he's rowing it like it's got a paddle on both ends, but it's just a handle. Like, how is it working? What's happening here when Nehemiah was doing his little rafting? And I thought that was pretty
and he
funny.
won that round too.
Yeah, and he was just like kind of making like he was baffled, but baffled about it. He's like, it doesn't make sense. He's rowing without the paddle side and still winning.
See, Nehemiah had the one with the motor. Watch, he
Yeah,
cheated.
maybe because the rest was like, this is dumb. It makes no sense.
You're like,
Nehemiah, what the fuck are you doing?
mathematically, this doesn't seem to do what it's supposed to do, but whatever. All right, good. That's a lot. That's a lot of information about kind of where he stands and what he's looking forward to and what he's putting into it. A lot better when he has that point of view than his like, the taunting like, well, I don't need the money, but it's like no one asked for that. Just he has a hard time
He has a
just
monster truck.
he has a hard time just stating how he feels. He kind of like lives in the space of a funny joke or a not so funny joke.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's probably why I gave it to him because they're more like confessionals on like the feeling, the hard work it takes for a person to get to this point of the
yeah,
game and actually completing it, which you can't say that with too many people around the world that have done this show, been on that show, and completed it, whether they won or not.
yeah. I hope the finale has an element where we see all of them kind of climb the mountain, so to speak. Because on
Mm,
season one,
yeah.
even though they didn't win, you still got excited. Like, good job, Anissa. You're here with us. You weren't the winner, but you're part of the epic final scene.
Season two definitely had a lackluster in that.
Season two, like, kind of thought the plane was gonna solve
It,
that problem.
it
Yeah,
was weird. It was a weird ending.
yeah.
Season
Well, I mean, from Janelle's Accord, I'm kind of like, didn't they win?
two.
So. But that's just an opinion. But you also got to value people's, opinions and what they went through too. All right. Well, I think I'm done with saying, the episode wasn't my favorite. I'll definitely keep that out of my system
-2.
For the next one.
Maybe we'll get the next one to be a +2 at least. Boom.
And you got to think sometimes when you make viewpoints, you never know who's checking out your material or your show or whatever. And basically, when we do these shows, we try to come up with the most honest feedback. And for me as a viewer, that was the feedback, that it was a little too busy for what it was worth. And that's a great way to say it. If there was like this great to be continued, and then, oh my God, Derek's body flung 3 feet, or something crazy, and there was like a payoff, it would have been like great for the to be continued. And if it was oh, hey, you guys, surprise, we're going to do another pre-challenge here, and it was so epic, but it wasn't epic. And if we were starting the challenge, the final rather, with these stars and these starting points and these just all this chaos, but it was worth the while, I think I would have been a little bit more into it.
Ronnie. I think you're in trouble. Production's calling me.
I mean,
think you're in trouble.
Wouldn't be the first time.
TJ, he didn't mean it. He's taking it all back. All right, guys, I gotta go. They're calling me.
That's a wrap on Richard. That is episode 9. We're getting excited about the final. So that's coming up next. And this will mean that me and Richard have recapped the Challenge All-Stars 1, 2, and 3. So stick with us for the next one. And I guess that's it. All right, time to go. Bye.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.